we're at the Marion County Extension Office, and Juanita's going to show us, get us started on spring meals, spring vegetables and fruits that will be coming ripe, and then we can use in our daily meals.
Right. When we think about spring, a lot of times, Yvonne, we're always thinking about salads. We're thinking about cooking out. You know, in the wintertime, we're always thinking about those comfort foods.
Yes.
But you know, there's a lot of good comfort foods in the spring too, because I love to have the good fresh vegetables.
Yes.
And hopefully before long that we are going to have some fresh vegetables, right?
Right.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yes.
And so, you know, we're going to talk about today, we are making a spring salad. We're making a spring harvest salad. Okay. And this is one of my very favorite salads. We've had this for more than 1 year that we have used this. And it is very good because we're talking about the foods for spring. We're thinking about barbecuing. We're thinking about getting that grill out and using them. And let me say this, with our vegetables coming on in the spring, you know, we're finding out more and more, you can grill more vegetables than people let on.
Oh.
You know, you think about grilling, you usually think about, what do you think about?
Well, you know, I've been in your programs before, and now I think about cabbage.
You think about cabbage, that's right. That is a very good vegetable to grill. You're thinking about that. You know, you're getting that good old chicken on that grill. You know, we can add some, we can grill also our vegetables, such as cabbage. Cabbage, we can do zucchini, squash, peppers.
I've even seen tomatoes on the grill.
Tomatoes on the grill. I think we've got an old recipe in here that we did do some grilling of tomatoes.
With Parmesan cheese.
With Parmesan cheese, you know. It is something very good on that grill. So today we are going to start out making a harvest salad. And this salad would be good with about anything you can use on the grill. I would like to read the recipe first before we start putting it in. It is a spring harvest salad. And, you know, we think of spring, we think of things green, right?
Right.
Well, today, our recipe calls for 5 cups of torn spring leaf lettuce, okay? Now, spring leaf lettuce is all of those different lettuces that you find already in a package. You're going to use 2.5 cups of spinach leaves. Spinach is something very good. It's almost one of those power foods, right? Anymore, it's one of those green power foods. We're going to use good old sliced strawberries. You know, when you think of spring, do you think of a strawberry?
Yes, I do.
I sure do. We're going to use some blueberries over here. And we're going to use, last but not least, some good little old green onions. Now, I know we've been seeing those green onions sprout up in our yard, right? But these are the little green onions that you can get, that you can, they're very easy to grow whenever you're putting them in the garden. You just buy that little bulb, put it down in the ground, and an onion will almost grow anywhere.
Yeah, and you can have those year-round.
You can have them
all through the summer anyway.
All through the summer, and then this is just a little tidbit. You can buy your onion sets, and you can wrap them really good, like in a brown paper bag, and you can store them in the bottom of your crisper drawer in your refrigerator. And then when fall comes, if all of your little green onions are gone in the summer, you've got those bulbs, and you can set those out, and you can have some for fall also.
Wow, that's
So
wonderful.
that's probably a pretty good little deal. And then now we've got we talked about all of our little salad fixings here that we're going to have, but you always like to have a dressing on it, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course,
I think that's where the trouble is. That's where
I
the
know
trouble comes.
that's my trouble because I love a good dressing. But this, you know, this is a little different. We're going to use 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, 2.5 teaspoons of olive oil. We're going to use a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and we're going to use 1 1/2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of honey and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and that we're going to put that in a bowl. We're going to whisk that up together, and that is going to be our dressing that we put over it.
Wow, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, but now you see I still got a few more ingredients here that we haven't talked about, right? Okay. After we get our greens, our salads all put together, make our dressing. We're going to whisk that up, and we're going to kind of drizzle it over. Now, you know, a lot of times when we're going to make this up, and if you pour a lot of it, you know, what happens to our salad?
Gets soggy.
It gets a little soggy. So I would suggest to just drizzle this to your own taste. But I said we've got a couple of more ingredients, right?
All right.
We're going to use 1/4 cup of feta cheese, and we're going to use a 1/2 cup of unsalted almonds, sliced almonds.
That gives it texture.
It gives it a little bit texture. Now, I know we're talking to an audience. They said, okay, I can't do almonds on account of maybe they're allergic to some of the nuts or some of that. You do not have to add this, but you know, you could, if you wanted a little crunch, you might do something, you know, something else for some crunch. You know, if you even diced up celery very fine, that gives you just a little crunch. And the feta cheese, we're finding out more and more people are eating different types of cheese. You know, a lot of times we've always used cheddar cheese, some Parmesan cheese, you know, already shredded, but some feta cheese. I know it has a strong odor, but you're only going to use 1/4 cup in this, so it's going to be something that gives it another little taste.
Yeah, something different.
Something different, and that's what we're liking, right?
Yes, it is for spring. For this spring 2018, we want to do
Yes,
something a
ma'am.
little different.
We want to do something different. We don't want to be like everybody else. We're going to do something different.
Now, for everyone who's out there watching and would like to get this recipe, how can they get this recipe from you?
They could call here at the Marion County Extension Office at 270-692-2421, and we would be more than glad to get you this. This is one of our plated up recipes too. I know you've heard a lot about the plated up recipes. Again, like we always say each time we're on here, all of our recipes are true and tried through the university before they send them out for us to use. So everything is UK recommendations, okay?
Fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and get started.
Let's get started, you know. Okay, now, you know, anytime that we are using any of our lettuces or greens or any of that thing, I want to let everybody know, be sure to wash all those fruits and veggies before you use them, okay? So it's talking about 5 cups of torn spring leaf lettuce, and I'm just going to pull this over in front of you if you don't care.
Don't mind.
Now, I didn't tear this, but, you know, the way I like to do it, I don't know if the audience can see me, and I've already kind of pre-measured this today.
Okay.
You know.
Now, this looks like a spring mix.
It is, and it is actually a baby spring mix is what I purchased today for this. And if you go to the grocery store and you can see them, and they're not very expensive to purchase either. So now we've got our baby spring mix there. Now with the spinach, I didn't get real creative. I'm going to have to measure that out just a little bit. But I have already washed it. I have taken the stems from the spinach also. So can I just move this right here in front of you a little bit?
Certainly.
And it calls for about 2, and you have to help me out here, Yvonne.
Okay, our spinach here, 2.5 cups.
2.5 cups. So I'm just going to take, and do you like spinach?
I sure do.
Oh, it's one of my favorite greens. You know, I could probably put all of this spinach in here with this. And you see, Yvonne, I am kindly rolling it over. Yeah. And the reason is if I chop this, you know, I would have more. So it's kind of like airy, fluffy. So we're going to put a good, that's 1 cup, correct?
That's 1 cup.
1 cup.
And we're using tongs.
We're using tongs.
Yes, indeed. And spinach is one of those vegetables with lots of antioxidants. It's
Oh,
dark
yes,
green.
yes. And you know, spinach is good in anything anymore. So we've got 2. And it's already kind of airy, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, I said we're going to use a 1/2 cup. And you know, I'm changing measuring cups here now, Yvonne.
Okay.
Do you see that I got a 1/2 cup, not a whole cup, right?
No estimating here. We got the real deal.
We've got the real deal. But you know, if you like vegetables, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more, because our recommendation of our vegetables based on a 2,000 calorie a day diet is at least 2.5 cups. So, you know,
You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. And we're just going to set our spinach over, and now we're going to use some strawberries. Now, you see I've already got the strawberries already washed and cut, you know, just a little bit of extra, things that's helping us
And
out.
because it is spring, some of our stores have put their strawberries on sale.
They are.
So just keep watch.
Just keep watch, and then hopefully that the spring weather is coming. It's going to be here, Yvonne, I promise. And
Okay.
strawberries is one of the early fruits that when, they're in season, and by the end of May, people should be having their own ripe strawberries.
Wow.
So I'm going to use 1 1/2 cups of sliced strawberries. Now, have you ever done strawberries in a salad before?
I haven't made strawberries in a salad, but I've had it at restaurants.
Okay. I think a little of my lettuce got in there.
And those look really good. Nice and ripe.
Oh, they are. They're very sweet. They were on sale this weekend. If anybody took that advantage.
Yes.
So I'm going to I've got 1 cup, and I'm just going to, would you like to sprinkle that around?
Let's sprinkle these strawberries around.
Okay. Now I'm going to come back with another 1/2 cup. It says 1 1/2 cups. Now, and we're finding out a lot of our recipes, our salad recipes, are having a fruit in them now. Mandarin oranges is one
Very
that
popular,
is,
aren't they?
yes. And we've got just a little bit too many. What would you do if you had the rest of them left?
I would just throw them in a bowl.
Do you think we could do that today?
I think we could.
You think we could?
I
think we
don't
could.
think anyone's going to complain
I don't
about
think
too many
so.
strawberries.
No. And they're good and sweet. Okay, and now we're going to use about a cup of blueberries. Blueberries is something where we are finding a lot of times in the last month, I have found some blueberries on sale. And blueberries, you talk about the antioxidants. Blueberries is loaded with the antioxidants. So these are something very good for you. And let me say this, I'm going to use a cup of my blueberries. If you have some blueberries or any of this blueberries especially, if you have some left over, and you think, I'm not going to eat all those blueberries, throw them up in a little container, put them up in the freezer for a good old smoothie, right?
A smoothie, or you know what? Blueberry pancakes.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, that's tasty.
You're making me hungry.
Yes, and I'll have to have 2 breakfasts today.
And like you said, blueberries is a very good antioxidant. Also, finding out, I'm all about working with these children. We're finding out children are eating more blueberries.
Wow, because they're so pretty.
They are. Isn't that a beautiful fruit there?
Yes, it is.
Would you like to shake it around in there?
Shake these around in here with the strawberries. Oh, that salad's getting lots of color.
Lots of color. Lots and lots of color.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
Okay. Now we're going to get over here to our little onions. Those onions are wonderful, right?
They are.
They do smell.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
But onions smell good, though.
Onions is good, and onions is something that is so good for us, and it doesn't take a lot of onion. Now, if you out there watching this show, Yvonne and I can really smell these green onions now.
We can.
I did cut them up a little earlier, but if you notice, I cut the blades on the little green onions too, because we want that color in our salad also. So, do you eat the little green blades on your onions?
Oh, sure.
I do too. I do too. So it says we only need a 1/2 cup of our onions. Now, onions is calorie potent. That's why we're doing just a small
They go
amount.
a long way.
They go a long way. So we are going to just measure out about a 1/2 cup, and I think we've almost got a 1/2 cup. If a person liked onions, they'd probably throw the whole thing in there, right?
Right.
And we do that because food is so expensive.
Yes, it is.
It's so expensive to have to waste.
You can't afford to waste any.
We cannot afford to waste any. Now, isn't that a pretty color?
Oh, yes, that's beautiful.
And this is making up a pretty good amount of salad. Can everybody see that? We've got our spring salad mix. We've got our spinach leaves. We've got our strawberries, our blueberries, and our little green onions. So now it's time to make the dressing.
Ooh,
Okay?
that's the part that I really am interested in because that's where I tend to get into trouble. A little too much dressing.
Do you like the creamy dressings? Yeah. Well, no. Do you kindly?
Well, I have Italian sometimes.
Okay.
I have the Italian.
But what do we want to do? Sometime we'll take that and squirt it all over our salad or pour it all over our
I tell
salad.
you what I do. I get my salad dressing on the side and I use
Okay.
it as a dip.
Okay, that is even much better. You're a better person than I, Yvonne.
I try to do good.
Yes, but we do. And you know, we're out there and we're saying, okay, I don't think I'm even going to like this mixture. All right, you make this mixture up and you try it a little bit before. You could even dip you a few of that in there beforehand, right, Yvonne, before you can. Okay, so Yvonne, you got to keep me straight. I'm going to use some good old lemon juice.
We're going to do 4 teaspoons.
4 teaspoons. I got my little handy dandy measuring spoons, 4 and 1 here. So she says I need 4 teaspoons. Now, we have to remember a teaspoon is a lot smaller than a tablespoon, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. And I do have the correct measuring. Okay, we got 1 and 2 and 3. You see, I'm not pouring it over the bowl.
Right.
You wonder why I'm doing that? Why I'm not pouring it over there?
In case you get too much.
In case you ever do that. I have done. I'm sorry, I'm putting Yvonne on the spot. I have done that many times, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So now, Yvonne, I'm going to put in,
2 1/2 tablespoons of olive oil.
okay, now tablespoons this trip, right?
Tablespoons.
All right. So I've got my olive oil, and I've switched ends of my measuring.
Got your handy dandy measuring tool.
I know it. I wish UK would send us some more of these. I just love these little ones. Okay, you said 2.
2 1/2.
Okay, we've got 2 1/2.
1/2.
1/2 tablespoon, right?
1/2 tablespoon.
All right, now we're going to have to do a little math here, right? Okay, there's 3 teaspoons that makes a tablespoon. Okay, so I'm going to have to put 1 teaspoon and 1/2, okay? Kind of getting it on me here. So I got, see my backside? It's 1/2.
Oh, my. That is handy dandy.
It is handy dandy. We've had these for several years. I wish they would send us some more. Maybe they can hear us today and they are going to send us some.
They'll hear our request.
That's right. Okay, now let's see what else we need.
We need 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar.
Okay, balsamic vinegar. That sounds very rich tasting,
Yes,
right?
it does. Balsamic.
Balsamic vinegar. Okay, and I shuck it up real good. And you said I need a tablespoon.
1 tablespoon.
Okay, I've got another little handy dandy one. I kept several of them out here.
Okay. Balsamic vinegar. Now that's going to give it a little different taste.
Little, yeah. Now we've got the lemon and we got the vinegar. It's going to be a little tart, right?
Right.
It's going to be a little tart. So I've got my tablespoon of vinegar, and now I'm going to use. What am I needing now? A Dijon.
1 1/2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard.
Oh, right. Now I'm shaking this up really good because you and I talked before we got on here. Sometimes, you know, everything's not shook up or anything. So I'm going to use 1 1/2 teaspoons of my Dijon mustard, okay? Now, it's okay. I've used this end, so I'm going to use my 1. Isn't that creamy?
That is. That looks very good.
Mm-hmm. I gotta set it down. I gotta shake it down just a tad here. Probably some of these folks out here, they might just squirt it in there, right?
Yes.
But we're not going to do that. And I'm going to use my 1/2 on the very back again.
Okay.
Whoops. Trying to make sure we get it all in there.
Now I can tell you that looks pretty weird.
It does. It does look weird. But I guarantee it's going to be good. I promise. Have I ever gone wrong with you?
Nope.
Okay.
No, you haven't. I trust
All
you.
right. Now we're going to use our honey. Now we know our Dijon mustard, it has just a little bit of a nip to it. We've got, okay, so we're going to tone it down a little bit with some honey. Now, if you've got your own honey, it's even much better, right?
That's right.
So I got me another clean one over here. I'm going to use my
2 teaspoons.
2 teaspoons, and I'm going to set it down so I can use both hands. You like honey, Yvonne?
I do.
Honey is so good for us.
Yeah, it is. And I'm told it's good for our allergies.
It is. That's what I've been told also. But you know, a lot of times we like something sweet. Maybe we can just squirt a little honey or use about a teaspoon of honey. I'm going to use this spoon right here. I'm going to try to get that out. That's the only bad thing about these. You know, they kind of get down in there. And I'm going to squirt me another one in here, Yvonne.
Okay. All that good honey. For all you honey lovers out there.
You know, I am beginning to be a very big fan of honey. A lot of people put it in their tea for a sweetener. You know, sometimes I just like honey,
Yes.
you know. Maybe, you know, we're just really trying to watch our weight and maybe we're not going to eat a cookie or something. You know, you can just get you a little bit of honey. Maybe on a little graham cracker or something, you know.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay, now then, I'm needing...
1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Okay, I knew I was going to use these up. So, Yvonne, I've already poured,
Got your salt.
got it measured. So there we go with that one. Now we are ready to whisk this up.
And if you've got kids in the household who like to whisk,
Yes. And what if you don't have a whisk? What can we use? We can.
I use a fork.
I use just a fork. Now, you think that's not a lot, but it is. It's a pretty good amount of dressing.
Looks like it is.
And again, like we were talking earlier, we do not want our salad
To be solid.
saturated, right? And this is almost like a drizzle that we're going to put over there. But now you know, let me say this, when you're making up any of these dressings, these vinaigrette dressings, never put it on until right before you're getting ready to serve, because they really get saturated, okay? Now we're just, if you'll scoot that over here just a little bit, we're just going to drizzle.
Drizzle that.
We're just going to drizzle.
That looks good.
Now, we're just going to take our tongs and kind of just saturate it just a little bit.
Work it all through there.
And just kind of do it all through. It smells. Do you smell that little vinaigrette?
And I have to say also that after we did get it whisked up, it did look like regular salad dressing.
It did. It did. It just doesn't have all the cream in it, all the extra fat.
Right.
And this is something, and that's so good about summer salads. You know, we think of wintertime, we like everything kind of heavy. This is light, airy. You know, you're out there on the patio doing that good grilling and having a good salad. So, and before I finish whisking, I don't like to tear it all up, we're going to add our almonds. And I have a 1/2 cup of almonds here, just sliced almonds. And we're just going to sprinkle.
And like we said earlier, if you are allergic to nuts or whatever,
Right.
you don't have to use almonds on it.
You-
You can use something else.
You can. I wanted to say bacon bits, but you know, but you can do the turkey bacon bits if you want that crunch.
That's true.
That is less fat. Okay. Now,
I've used cereal on mine, crushed cereal.
okay, yeah, you could do that. You could do that. Okay. We're going to use 1/4 of a cup of my feta cheese, and it's got a pretty good smell to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I hope everybody out there likes feta cheese. I do.
It's a little different.
It's a little different. I'm beginning to like feta cheese, and I love blue cheese.
Yes.
I'm really blue cheese with mixed in with some hamburger, put them on the grill. And I'm just gonna try to whisk this. Just put it all the way through.
More and more colors added.
More and more color, that's exactly right. And this is something, like I said, anytime you're making any salad, you want to make it up ahead of time a lot of times, because if you do, it's going to get soggy. But if we're using this, you got company coming over, or just you and your family, wait to the last. You might get your lettuces together and your onion, but wait before you put your fruit and your dressing in there, okay? Oh, it smells so good.
It certainly does. That balsamic vinegar really gives it a nice fragrance.
And it's, and if you want it to be really, really colorful, if you're going to, Yvonne, if you were having me over and you were going to impress me, you could just take maybe some whole berries and just slice it up on top if you were going to take it out somewhere. So let me get you a little plate here.
Okay.
And we're just going to try.
Do you want these tongs?
I've been using these.
Okay.
Been using these.
Okay, now we've got the spring lettuces there. We have the spinach.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
see strawberry. I see almonds. I see ricotta cheese.
But doesn't that look pretty?
It certainly does.
It looks very pretty. So would you like for me to read the recipe again?
Yes. I think I said ricotta. I meant feta cheese. Feta cheese.
That's okay.
Crumbled
The
feta.
Crumbled feta. That's okay.
Crumbled feta.
All right. Again, we use 5 cups of torn spring leaf lettuce. We use 2½ cups of spinach leaves, 1 1/2 cup of sliced strawberries, and you notice that we had just a little extra. We put it in there. 1 cup of fresh blueberries, 1 1/2 cup of thinly sliced green onions, and that was our salad. That's the body of our salad. And then for the dressing, we use 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, 2 1/2 teaspoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and 1 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 2 teaspoons, it calls for Kentucky honey, but if you got honey, and 2 teaspoons of honey, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of the feta cheese crumbles, and 1/2 cup of unsalted sliced almonds. And then all you have to do is mix your greens up, whisk up your dressing, kind of drizzle it on there, and then add your cheese and your sliced almonds. And there's your nice little spring harvest salad.
Yes. The big bowl here, but here's a nice plate of salad here. It looks wonderful. The presentation is great.
This is like I said, one of my very favorite. You could use this, you're grilling hamburgers out, you're grilling steaks or pork chops, anything. This would make a wonderful side dish. And like I said, we need at least 2 1/2 cups of our veggies. We need 2 cups of our fruit. And of course, that's not going to make what you need all day long, but that's a good tribute to your fruits and veggies for the day.
Okay. Now, I look at this salad and I see strawberries, and of course, we've got blueberries in there. Now, if you have children in your family that you're trying to get to eat salads, which can be tough sometimes, what are some other options that you have with those fruits?
Well, what I would do, this just makes it good, but you could take some little mandarin oranges. I found out kids really like mandarin oranges.
They're little size.
Maybe their size,
Yeah,
and I know that they do offer a lot of mandarin oranges in the school, and you can get some mandarin oranges that you could. And you're talking about the strawberries, which they were on sale, but I have found out that there are some people that have a strawberry allergy too. So like you said, you could do some mandarin oranges. Mandarin oranges is good in any salad, and mandarin oranges pair up really good with the slivered almonds. So there's something that you could do. And what I would suggest, if you have a little one or a young person in your house, they just refuse maybe not to eat but one thing, maybe a piece of watermelon. To get them to eat some greens, I would try any type of fruit that they like.
Anything that they like. Fantastic. This is wonderful for a spring salad.
It's a spring harvest. It's called spring harvest salad.
Okay.
Yes.
Come on, spring.
Come on, spring. That's what Yvonne and I are out here doing today. We're trying to get spring to come on. We thought if we made this salad, the sun's going to shine.
All right.
I think it is for the end of the week.
I think it is too. And again, where can you be? How can you be reached for anyone who has questions?
Okay, yes. You can call the Marion County Cooperative Extension Service. You can dial 270-692-2421. I was about to give you my home phone number here. Let me repeat that again, okay? 270-692-2421.
Okay, and if someone wants to drop by and pick up one of these recipe cards, where are you located?
We are located at 416 Fairgrounds Road.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for this recipe today. I will be using it.
I hope that everybody will. And again, like she said, if you have any questions, just be sure to give us a call. Any of us, if I'm not here, there's other people here that can answer your questions or get you. We'll even have these recipes out front where they can get a hold of them.
Fantastic. Okay? Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Okay. This has been Yvonne McNary of Central Kentucky Television.